Good morning. My name is Scott Cam Schaefer, and I'm wanting to talk to you today about the emotional experience of shock. We often think of shock as something that is a medical experience that people have. And when you look on the internet, I go on Google, when I Google the word shock, basically everything that comes up has to do with medical situations where people are experiencing shock. But shock is also an emotion that people experience, and sometimes it goes with physical shock, but other times it doesn't. And when people have an emotional shock, it's usually in response to an extreme traumatic experience. And that shock tends to stay in the body. And unless there's a process for getting it out of the body and dealing with it, and like I said, processing it out, it can stay and it can cause problems for people further down the line. Um, you know, Everybody has had situations where they just reacted to something that happened, either bad news most often, or sometimes good news, by saying, I can't believe it. How did that happen? Anytime anybody actually says something like that, they're actually referring to the experience of emotional shock. And it can either be negative or it can be positive, but in any case, it's something that can affect people further down the road, being able to process, especially traumatic events are uh, that are related to those. And it's amazing how many people I've talked to who really have some ignorance about the emotional experience of shock, both clinicians and both lay people. And one of the things I was hoping to allay is the ignorance around the experience of emotional shock today. And there, all the trainings that I've had in helping people deal with shock, especially from trauma models, there's only one of the two or more that I'm familiar with that actually help people in processing shock out of their system. And again, I am referring to emotional shock here, and that is image transformation therapy. And for those of you who haven't heard of it, image transformation therapy is a breathing and visualization technique that allows people to process out both the emotional content of traumatic, fearful, and painful experiences in their lives, but also the images that go with those and tend to fuel those. And one of the neat things about image transformation therapy that I found is that when people have suffered a shock in relation to a traumatic event in their life, that the image transformation therapy allows them to process that out. And that's often the first layer of multiple layers of emotions and experiences that people deal with when they've been traumatized. So one of the things I want to leave you with is just the idea that to first be aware of when you have experienced shocking experiences in your life, and to be able to recognize them and to know that there are ways of processing them out. And if you need to get help in dealing with shock, I totally encourage you to call me or another therapist who might be able to give you some help with that. I can help people in the Austin Travis County area and in Texas, but there are other trained clinicians who work with this experience and work with image transformation therapy specifically. So anyway, that's really all I have for today, and I thank everybody for watching, and I hope you have a great day, and I wish you the best of mental health and mental wellness wherever you might be.